Grand Architect Krilnar slammed his crystalline appendage against the conference table, sending fractal patterns of light dancing across the chamber. The other 11 members of the Exanthari High Council flinched at the unusual display of emotion from their normally stoic leader. Inconceivable. Krilnar's voice modulation crystals vibrated with distress. We have spent 8 millennia perfecting warp technology. 8. And these mammals deduce its principles after a single observation. Science Minister Talavi's bioluminescent patterns pulsed a calming blue. The evidence is indisputable, Grand Architect. The human vessel Prometheus successfully executed a Class 3 warp jump yesterday. Our sensors confirmed it matched our signature patterns exactly. But we were so careful, whispered Defense Coordinator Jex Roll. When we made diplomatic contact with Earth 5 cycles ago, we used only our conventional drives. All warp-capable vessels were kept 3 systems away. No human has ever been allowed aboard a warp-equipped ship. Talavi's illumination shifted to analytical yellow. They observed the spatial distortion of our diplomatic cruiser arriving in their system. That single ripple in space-time apparently gave their scientists enough data to extrapolate the entire theoretical framework. The analysis matrix in the center of the chamber projected the human research trajectory. What had taken the Exanthari ancestors 2,300 years of dedicated research, humans had accomplished in 17 months. How? Demanded Krilnar. How is this possible? Their species has barely achieved planetary unity. They were launching primitive chemical rockets just 2 centuries ago. Intelligence Director Moxtayan activated his communication crystal. Permission to present the human named Dr. Eliza Williams, Grand Architect. She's the lead scientist on their warp project, currently in our custody, as an honored guest following the diplomatic incident. Krilnar's crystals pulsed assent, and the chamber doors dissolved, revealing a small human female flanked by Xanthari guards. She appeared remarkably calm for a being surrounded by 9-foot crystalline entities. Dr. Williams, Krilnar began formally, explain how your species managed to replicate technology it was never exposed to. The human smiled, a disturbing display of dental structures that nonetheless seemed non-threatening. You showed us it was possible, she replied simply. That was the missing piece. Talavi leaned forward. Elaborate. Grand Architect, our scientists have theorized warp mechanics for over a century. Einstein, Alcubierre, Thorne, they all laid the mathematical foundations. We understood the concepts of space-time manipulation, but we couldn't solve the energy requirements or stabilization equations. Dr. Williams gestured to the analysis matrix. Then your ship arrived, creating that beautiful wake in the quantum fabric. We measured the patterns, analyzed the subspace oscillations, and suddenly everything clicked. The answers were there all along. We just needed confirmation that our theoretical models were on the right track. Stunned silence enveloped the chamber. You're saying, Jex Roll finally spoke, that you already had the theoretical framework, that you merely needed confirmation? Yes, she nodded. Though I should mention we've already made several improvements to your basic design. Our prototype achieves 18% greater efficiency and reduces subspace turbulence by a factor of 3. Krilnar's crystals darkened with shock. Improvements? In 17 months. Well, you've been using the same approach for millennia, right? Dr. Williams shrugged. Fresh perspectives can be valuable. We don't have the constraint of established conventions. Intelligence Director Moxtayan's patterns flashed urgent red. This explains their advancements in other areas as well. Since contact, they've leaped forward in medicine, materials science, and computational systems, all without direct access to our technology. We've always learned by watching, Dr. Williams explained. It's a human trait. We observe, we hypothesize, we experiment. Sometimes we fail spectacularly, but eventually we figure things out. And what do you intend to do with warp technology? Krillner demanded. Dr. Williams' expression softened. Exactly what you've done. Explore. Connect. Learn. But perhaps a bit faster than you expected. After she was escorted out, the council chamber remained silent for several moments. We have grossly underestimated these humans, Talavi finally stated. They don't need our technology. They need only know something is possible, and they will find their own path to it. Krellnar's crystals pulsed with reluctant admiration. 8 millennia of careful advancement, and they simply leapfrog the process. Revise our diplomatic protocols immediately. The humans aren't a developing species to be guided, they're potential equals. Or future teachers, Moxtaean added quietly, reviewing the human improvements to warp field stability. As the council adjourned, Krellner found himself wondering what other impossibilities the humans might casually solve tomorrow.